This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. Alright, so I got to gig the Revstar Standard the other day. I was playing in quite possibly the venue with the worst sound that I've ever played in. It's basically this massive hall. I've probably got some photos that I could find. Wedding there, massive hall, not a single soft furnishing in the place. So of course, it's like playing in a massive fish tank. Aside from that, yeah, so, oh, and Kieran, if you're watching, nice to meet you. This did a really great job. The only thing that I've done with this straight out of the bag box, I've lowered the pickups slightly. And another thing I did was I used, Monty's have this kind of wax stuff that they also use to wax their pickups. It's got like beeswax and stuff to kind of lubricate the fretboard. The fretboard did look a little bit dry. Now, someone else in the comments said that guitars from Indonesia is a bit of a drier climate. And anyway, we got carbon fiber reinforcement, so in terms of warping of the neck and stuff like that, I imagine that's not going to happen. But playability wise, it was fantastic. I couldn't fault it at all. And I really didn't feel any different to playing the Professional when I was actually playing it. I think part of that is that it looks and feels pretty much the same to play. When you do play them side by side, the finish of the neck is slightly more kind of satin feeling, like a little bit less smooth. But then once you kind of, gigging and getting a little bit sweaty and stuff, I imagine that I didn't feel much of a difference at all. The fretwork, fantastic, bends and all that sort of stuff, really good on it. And I really like the way the pickups sound in a live context as well. Somewhere between humbuckers and single coils, not quite as thin, but also not quite as honky as an actual humbucker. My only real downsides to the guitars, the Revstar range in general now at the moment, is that the finishes of them are maybe, I think, potentially a little bit either plain or strange. So some of the fades to me look a bit odd. The Matteo Mancuso one of all the fades looks pretty cool, and also the gold looks pretty cool. I personally like this blue one, but I could totally see why some people might think, well, that looks a bit, I don't know, whatever, garish or plain or both. So what I'd like to see from the Revstar range personally, and I think this might help them even differentiate between the stuff. So if you're paying sort of £1,700 for one of these, I'd quite like to see them bring back the flamed finishes or some other finishes that are kind of exclusive or more exclusive and better looking maybe to the Professional range from Japan. At the moment, I can't see, there isn't a huge gap in quality between these guitars. The standard and the professional, playing them side by side, I don't think there's huge differences at all. They do pretty much feel like playing two of the same model. So that would be a positive way that they could differentiate. The other thought that I had was that you could buy, the P90 and the humbucker model of one of these for less money than the professional and still have change. And so I don't know, to me it seems like that's probably the best value you could go for, especially if you like the Revstar. In terms of how it feels to play, it's something like the Les Paul experience, but we got a belly carve, we got much better upper fret access, and this has a bit more jangle to it. But something like a Les Paul with the 50s neck is what it feels close to that to me. But overall, just a really great guitar. Another thing I'd like to see is some revamping of the electronics kind of thing. I'm not sure that this is the optimum thing for me. So this mid switch, I don't really use that. And yeah, I don't know, some of the in-between positions don't necessarily sound optimal to me, but in general, the platform of the guitar I really like, and I really like the direction that Yamaha took with it, and the kind of bold choices they made design-wise, and yeah, it kind of does look pretty much like a new type of guitar, right, rather than something totally derivative like we see a lot of. Overall, I just really like it. I think it sounds the main feeling of the frets that I would try to describe it as is that basically it almost feels like the fret is not there with these stainless steel frets. It wants, if they've done a good job. Super easy to access all of the frets. My verdict is that for just over £600, these are, I think, a bit of a steal. I'd love to see, Yamaha do even more with the Revstar range. You know, thinking about things with single coils, maybe thinking about things with trems again, maybe thinking about things with a flame top, maybe more experimentation along the pickups, and you know, finding a different kind of flavor of Revstar, even maybe even a hollow body Revstar. I think there's so much they could do with this platform, because I think, frankly, they're doing fantastic work, especially when you imagine this is a guitar which is about the same sort of price as a Mexican player Strat, or you know, an Epiphone or something like that, or you know, stainless steel frets with a fantastic job done, playing perfectly out of the box. I bought this from, where did I buy it from? PMT, I think. It just plays fantastically out of the box, stays in tune, does all the things you need, and sounds and plays pretty much like the Professional. I think they've done a fantastic job. Hopefully that helps you if you're thinking about the Revstar as a thing. I definitely prefer these to the earlier Revstars to play as well. That satin neck makes a huge difference, and the stainless steel frets as well. So overall, very impressed and glad to see that they've brought such a good guitar to be affordable to so many. Good work, Yamaha. Cheers.